Every great brand starts with a feeling. But how do you turn that to something visual, something real? It starts here, not with a logo, but with a bridge, a stylescape. Hey, what's going on? Xavier here. Now, if you ever had to take a client from design to strategy, you know how tricky that bridge could be. Well, today I'm gonna show you how I use Stylescape like this one right here to help bridge that gap from big idea to final logo. And at the end of the video, I'm giving away a free Illustrator template so you can build your own Stylescape right after watching this. All right, so before we dive in and I show you the template that I use and how you build the Stylescape, I think it might be important to talk about a little bit what's a Stylescape, what's the difference between a moodboard and a Stylescape. All right, so let's dive into that real quick. So what is a Stylescape exactly? You can think of a Stylescape like a moodboard, older, more civilized sibling. A mood board is about inspiration and a Stylescape is about intention. It's meant to be a communication tool between you and your client to decide about the direction we're going to take the design for the brand or for the app or website or whatever it is that you're designing. That's what it is. But here's the thing. Stylescapes only work if it's built on strategy. This isn't about picking colors that look nice. You need to understand what this brand stands for, who is it speaking to, and how it should make your clients' customers feel. I personally like to use the Core Framework by Jose Caballer. I'll leave it down in the description below so you can check it out. You can use any framework, but just very important, do not skip on the strategy. Because if you skip on the strategy, the Stylescape just won't work and you're just building up a mood board. Oh, by the way, if you ever used a Stylescape before or you're about to do your first Stylescape after this video, let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit like, subscribe, so you don't miss what's coming up next. All right, so once you open a template, I have kind of like this mock-up. You don't have to use exactly one of the templates. It's just to give you an idea of how you could place your elements. But before we start doing that, I also added up here for you guys. So this is your Stylescape search keywords. So basically the idea is you just copy paste the term in Pinterest, Behance, Unsplash, wherever website you prefer. So let's say you're doing a Stylescape all about for brand identity. Well, then you could go to zoom in here. You could have the subject here, brand foundations. You could highlight brand identity, copy that term, take it into Pinterest, and you can start doing your searches on different ideas for your Stylescape. I broke it down to brand foundation, design elements, graphic styles. You have mood, emotion, digital emotion, photography direction, people and culture, environment and settings, packaging, merch. Oh, remember, you don't have to use every single term here. It all depends on what you're working on. You're working on brand identity, or you're working on a website or app, or you're working for packaging. You use the terms to help you search and curate your images for your Stylescape. You don't have to use every single one here. Remember that. Just pick the ones that apply to your specific needs for your Stylescape. So I made it really easy for you guys. So on the second artboard, I have here where to find images and assets for your Stylescapes. So these are basically sites for imagery and graphics type that I use that can be very useful for you guys. So if you're looking for inspiration and image search, obviously it's Pinterest, it's Behance, it's Dribbble, designinspiration.com. Some freestyle photography, I like Unsplash. There's also Pixabay. Looking for fonts and typography, there's Google Fonts, you go FontPair, Typewolf, Adobe Fonts, Mockups and Template, Mockup World, we got Artboard Studios. Looking for color palettes, we have Color Hunt, Adobe Color, Brand Colors, illustration and icons and vectors. Well, over here we have different websites, so you can go and look for that. So yeah, put that in there for you, so you don't have to be digging around like oh my god, what should I put for the Stylescape? It's all there for you. Copy and paste it in your browser and you're good to go. All right, so let's talk about the Stylescape itself. So I set it up for you to give you an idea on how you can set up these elements. You're gonna have here your your user. So if you do your strategy session with your client and you did user profiles, so you want to use the profiles for your user. And me personally, what I like to do at the very end of the Stylescape, I have this huge box here. I like to put something in there that's unexpected for my client. Like for example, when I did the brand strategy for the pastry brand, for this session, I put in a photo of establishment, like how her store would look like, or how a pastry store would, storefront would look like. You know, it wasn't something we talked about doing it, but I put that into to plant that seed in her mind. So maybe in the future, when she's ready for that step, she might remember that, hey, you know, I work with Xavier. He showed me that. Maybe I could hire him to do that. Even though I'm not an interior designer, I do like interior design. So hey, she might call me back for that. So just an idea. So all right, so let me just show you how I built the Stylescape. So this is one of the Stylescape that I did for the pastry brand. As you can see, I already went and grabbed a whole bunch of images from the web. So when I do my Stylescapes, I have to start with adding the name of the company, and I like to add the mission statement. Now, depending on what strategy you use, the framework that I use, Core, there's a section where we go over brand attributes, and we develop between 6 to 7 brand attributes. And then from those 7 attributes, we pick the top 3 to develop, not the top 3, but we pick 3 of those words to develop this Stylescape. I recommend, well, it's pretty much standard to do at least 3 Stylescapes, and each Stylescape should be different. The way I do my Stylescapes is I do one that's the expected Stylescape, you know, something that the client for be the most expected design direction we could take. And then the second Stylescape, I do a little bit more kind of like mild, think of like mild, medium, spicy. So I might change the direction completely of that Stylescape. And then the third Stylescape, it's like I go all out. I go probably a direction that she did not expect or my client did not expect. And for this case, this is the third Stylescape that we're making. So right now we're focusing more on just creativity and just having fun with the brand. So this would be like the spicy Stylescape. So you look at all the images I grabbed. They have lots of illustrations, having fun with this typography. So yeah, I like to start with the mission statement of the brand statement and the name of the company and the three attributes that I'm going to use to build a Stylescape. And the placement can be anywhere you want. You know, it doesn't have to be in the middle. It could be like in the beginning, or it could be anywhere in the beginning or in the middle. All right, just want to do it a little bit in the beginning, like around here. After that, I like to place the user, and since we already picked out pretty much the font. Oh, here's another tip you could do with your brand, with the brand attributes. Place in there the font. Do you want to go with this one? You can also place in the font for the mission statement. And with this brand, we actually went with the third Stylescape, and then we focus on these 3 brand attributes, like I said. Okay. So then you start building your Stylescape. And you can see the images I curated. Since this was just brand entity, I look for lots of packaging. I look ideas for how logos could work. I look for ideas for photography. So how she can market her products. And you should start building to make sure these are well intent and it fits with the strategy. Since I'm kind of cheating because I already did this already, but I am kind of mixing it up to just show you how another different way to building it. So yeah, that's all you do. Just grab something that fits with the strategy, that fits with the brand, and you start just clicking drag and start positioning them. Why I'm picking these particular images? One, I like this font right here. It says, I think it's fun. It connects with the brand attribute of having creativity. I like the layout right here, how we could do packaging for our pastries. Now, I'll show you a quick tip. If you really want to push the Stylescape, like let's say you do 3 Stylescape, but there's one that you really want to push to the client. Because a really good way to do a Stylescape is to take these photos, put them in Photoshop, and maybe change the name and put your customer's brand name there. You can really sell the Stylescape that way. I usually do it. Don't tell my clients I do this, but what I do is, if there's a stylescape, a direction I want to push their brand, because I believe this direction will work, I would do that to that one stylescape. I would take that stylescape and I would change a couple of images and put the brand name there, because sometimes it helps the client, you know. Sometimes it could be hard for them to visually see their brand in the stylescape. And if you take some of these photos and take it in Photoshop and just put their brand name there, that can actually help sell the stylescape. So if this is a stylescape, this approach you want to push your client to, yeah, go ahead and do that. Go to Photoshop, put the name there. You know, they might see that like, huh, I see the video. I can see the vision now. Now that I see my name on there, that could help. So I'm gonna go ahead finish the stylescape, and it should be done. All right. All right. So this is a finished stylescape. Um, I was trying to remember exactly how I did this stylescape. I actually did this stylescape already. I have it right over here. I already did it once. This is the one that my client picked, and this is how we developed the brand into the stylescape. And I was trying to remember like how I put it together. And let me change a little bit for you guys. But all right, so here this is the stylescape that I put together or reassemble again, focusing a lot on typography, these illustrations, heavily on the blue, and this really cool like images of how we could like stack her pastries and make really cool photography with that. And what I add, even though and when she contacted me, she didn't want a website. Remember, like I said earlier, in this section of the stylescape, put in the an idea that she might or your client might like, they could sell in the future. So what I did for that idea, I put a website there. Even though we didn't talk about making a website, but I planted the idea there. So maybe I was hopefully that maybe she saw that and may trigger the idea. She did want to do a website, so I'm glad that I put that in there. So to show her like, hey, in the future, if you want to go ahead and do the next step of your brand and do a website, this is a possible direction of how we could do it. I like to use the end, but you can use any part. I had to put the big idea, the unexpected idea at the end of the stylescape, and hopefully sell them an idea of a possible maybe a website, maybe a storefront design or merch or any other thing you want to work with it with that client. If you want to see how I use this exact stylescape on a real client, check out this video up here. I forgot which side is it, where I break down the full branding process of the Puerto Rican pastry brand. You'll see how your strategy and the stylescape and the visual all came together to build this brand identity. Once it's done, this becomes your presentation piece. And when you show it to your clients, you're not just throwing ideas at them. You're showing them a cohesive branded world. And trust me, once they see this, they get it. It's the moment where things just clicks for them. All right, so to help you get started, I'm gonna show you my exact Illustrator template that I built all my stylescape. It's in the description down below. Download it, just make it your own. All right, so this help you out, you know, do hit a like, comment, share, subscribe. And if this was your first stylescape, hey, I want to see it. So you could go ahead and email me and I can give you some feedback. And if you enjoy what I'm doing here, and this, you might also like the whole brand identity series that I did. So you can check that out. So after that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.